Hey guys, so since being an old school Rocket League veteran playing on the PlayStation 3 on Supersonic Aerobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars, it's a bit of a mouthful, but I've been playing that for 4 years, and coming to Rocket League I noticed that a lot of people are having a lot of troubles, but now it's been Christmas and a lot more people have the game since they may have got it as a Christmas present, etc., a better PC so people can play it, or maybe just people on the PS4 bought it. A lot of people need help trying to get used to the controls and generally how to play Rocket League better. And I'm going to do a set of tutorials with different videos explaining how to be better at the game, including dribbling, how to hit the ball, what techniques you should use to hit the ball, and trick shot in aerials. They'll all come in different videos in the future. So today is generally going to be getting to know your car and the options in the game. So starting off with the options, we're going to go through camera settings and controls. Generally the video is how well your PC can run. I think they're set on PlayStation 4. Audio, obviously, how you really want them to be set. I mean, if you want to talk to people in game, that's generally what you want. And miscellaneous, don't disable that. Disabling crossplay stops you from being able to play with PS4 players if you're on the PC. I don't know if that option is there for PlayStation 4 players since I'm using a PC, but don't turn that off. There's not really any need to turn it off. On the other note, I would just recommend turning off controller vibration. It allows you to control the ball a lot better without the controller vibrating in your hand. So I would turn that off if you don't want to lose control, or well, you'll get used to it after a while, but it's generally a lot more comfortable not having the controller vibrate in your hand. So we're going to move on to the camera settings. Now the camera settings are very important in this game. So I'm going to go through each option individually apart from these two because they're generally set like this and you might as well just leave them. You don't want to really invert your pitching game. So camera shake, this is generally turned on and you want to turn this off. This is when someone explodes on the pitch, your camera doesn't shake. So if you explode someone who's in front of you and you want to try to get the ball straight afterwards, the explosion won't put you off so you won't miss the ball. And this is very, very helpful. Now camera FOV. So the FOV is generally your field of view. So it's best set to 90 as a lot of games have it on 90, and it generally just gives you an optimal view of the game, and you don't really want it too high because you don't want to see too much, you don't want it too low because you don't want to see too less. Generally 90 is the best. Camera height is how far the camera is above the car. So as you're looking behind the car, it's how high you can see over the car. The camera angle is at what angle the camera is pointing down at the car. So at a higher value, I think it points down more. At a less value, it points up in the air. -5 for me is generally the setting that I use. The camera distance is how far back the camera is from the ball. Not the ball, the car, sorry. So if it's too far back, you'll see too much and you won't be able to really focus on where to hit the ball with your car because it's not exactly... You can't really judge where you're going to hit the ball, so it's best to have it at like a reasonable distance. I use 330. I think that's an okay distance to use. And then there's camera stiffness. If this is set to low, when you've not got ball cam on, if you turn with your car, the camera will take like 2 seconds to readjust to the car. If you have full stiffness, when you turn the car without ball cam on, it will turn with the car. So rather than it being like a fluent transition when you turn with the car, it just turns with the car so you can see always what direction and where you're going with your car. Camera swivel speed. This is when the ball passes over your head and goes past you when you've got ball cam on. It's like how fast the camera will turn to look at the ball. Generally 2.5 is good enough. And then ball cam indicator, this is on. I think you should turn it off. I mean, it just gives you an ugly overlay at the bottom left of your screen when you've turned your ball cam off, telling you, hey, you can press this button to turn it back on. So generally I have mine off because I can notice when ball cam is on or not. It's not really hard to know, but I guess they added this feature for like new players to know, to like let them know that, hey, there is a ball cam option where you can constantly look at the ball, press this button. But since I've been playing a lot, I know when to turn ball cam on and off. It doesn't tell you when to turn it on, like in the best situations. It's just there to say there's a ball cam function, and it's best to turn it off. So now we're going to go to controls, and generally you want to be using a gamepad to play this game because it's a lot easier to control your car rather than pressing A to turn left, and you can't set how much you want to turn left. You understand, like the analog stick, it allows you to define how much you want to turn your car, and also it's a lot easier, it's a lot friendlier. All the buttons are like near each other, but generally these are the default settings that the game gives you, apart from two things. And I'm going about gamepad here. I don't use a keyboard and mouse, so it's going to be hard to explain these, but I'll explain the gamepad. So the two that I have changed are air roll. Now air roll is normally on X, the same as power slide, and the reason you change it to LB is it is easier to do like trick shots later on when you get to know how to do them, where you flip in the air and like spin around and do crazy stuff. It's a lot easier when you press press LB rather than to press A then to quickly move over to X to turn around. And then the other button that's changed is when you normally press LB, it brings up the scoreboard. So if you change the scoreboard to the select button, which isn't set to anything, you then have a fully remapped gamepad. So these are the only two options that I've changed, scoreboard and air roll. I do recommend doing this. I wouldn't do this now, I'd do this in the future. But it's nice to know, if you set it now, obviously, you can get used to it for the future. When I was introduced to trick shotting, I was always used to using X to turn my car around, so I had to learn this second button to spin my car around in air. So I would recommend setting this right now. So now we're going to go into the cars, and I have all the cars in the game, all the DLC packs such as the Dominus, DeLorean, the Zippy down here. But I'm only going to talk about the free-to-play cars since some of you guys may not have the DLCs. So each of these cars have their different attributes. Each of these decals and hats and antennas don't change anything about the cars. It don't matter what you put on here, you can just customize your car to what you want. It will not affect your car. Just the main type of body of the car will affect how your car handles. So I'm going to go through each of these and tell you what to use and what not to use. So if you can see my cursor, this is what I tell to use. For the DLC ones, I'll just say DLC. So not to use, use, DLC, DLC, use, DLC, use, don't use, don't use, DLC, don't use, DLC, DLC, don't use, DLC. So from that list, I basically selected the Breakout, the Gizmo, the Hot Shot, and the Octane. And these are the best free-to-play cars to use in the game. Basically, all the rest of the cars have a bad attribute, which means that, so for example, the Merc, where is it? It's here. So the Merc, when you try to turn with the Merc, it's like trying to steer a boat. It just takes so long. Also, trying to drift through it as well is horrible, and it's generally the same for the rest. You're only advised, well, I only advise you to use the Breakout, which turns quite a bit. It turns like one of the best handlers in the game, and it drifts quite well. So does the Hot Shot. I think the Hot Shot has the best handling in the game. The Gizmo, I would actually recommend the Gizmo for new players. The Gizmo is like, it's a huge car, so you will not miss the ball as much as using a car such as the Octane, which is smaller, or even the Breakout, which is just a flat car. The Gizmo is a big car, and it turns really well, it drifts really well, and generally it's like a good car. Like, it's a big car, you can dribble with it, you can learn to dribble with it, you can learn to hit air shots with it, and you're always going to hit the ball. Well, I can't say always, it depends how you turn into the ball. So I recommend the Gizmo. I told my friend as well, I recommended him the Gizmo. And then once you get used to hitting the ball, you can turn to the smaller cars such as the Octane, Breakout and Hot Shot. I've never really seen anyone use the hot shot. In my opinion, I think it turns far too fast, so I wouldn't use it. I mainly just stick to Breakout and Octane, and I move to the Dominus sometimes as well, which is just flat cars are generally used for striking and doing power shots, where big cars, well, like tall cars such as the Octane and the Gizmo, are generally used for dribbling. So generally that is all I have to talk to in this episode. The cars, they do matter, because the hitboxes change, the attributes change, and the drifting changes, so you want to make sure you pick a car which is good. As I said before, I recommend everyone the Gizmo if they've just started the game, since you can always hit the ball with it. Also, I would recommend looking in the training options, maybe check out the tutorials. Free to play is a really good place to train without a timer. You can set up your own situations where you may have to like defend the ball or strike the ball like up in the air, but right now I'd recommend doing the striker and the goalie. I'd avoid aerial if you're a new player for a while until you get used to hitting the ball on the ground. These two are the best. Don't rush into all-star, just play rookie, try to hit the ball, get better at your accuracy at hitting the ball and trying to hit towards the goal using the striker, and try to get better using the car as a blocking car when you're doing the goalie challenge. But that's generally it, so I hope you enjoyed, guys. Part 2 will be in the next few days. I hope this helped, and the next episode will be accuracy and dribbling with the cars, and generally what to do in certain situations. But I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.